Hey everyone. So I thought I would go live today for any of you that you are an employee, you have employees, and I want to start this out by sharing a little bit of the things that I learned that I just wish somebody had told me. You know what, Mike? Here's something to think about. Here's something that you won't realize till it's too late. So let's go back way back in time. So if we go back to 1994, when we started Gold Medal Service and we started hiring people. Now, any of you that are out there, you have a small company, you know you're in the grind. You have people coming in, you're hiring, you're firing, you're hiring, people fire themselves. And as you are out there and you're growing your company, you're trying to raise the skill sets of the people, right? And that's what I was trying to do. And but it's like you don't figure it out because it's like the next job, the next problem, the next truck, the next broken thing, the next upset customer. And then eventually, if you're fortunate enough and you push through enough, you might get to the point where you are at 20. Maybe you're at 20 employees. And then you start having those nights wondering, like, how long can you do this? Is it worth it? Should you just go work for somebody? But you're making a whole lot more revenue. And make sure if you're on with me, type in the chat bar there. I want to see if the chat's working in the comments. So you get to like 50 employees now. And now it's a point like it's make or break it, right? It is make or break it. One wrong move can flip everything on its head. One right move, hey, what's up, Chuck? One right move can move people forward. And so at 50 employees, I mean, there is just, you think you know what you're doing because what happens, hey, what's up, Pat? What's up, Chuck? You think because you put in a popcorn machine, you think because you bring in bagels, you think you got coffee and you got a fancy looking truck with fancy looking uniforms, you think you got it all under control. But you keep growing through the chaos. And I'm going to tell you when I really started to figure out the number one solution that nobody told me. It cost me a lot of money not to know this, and it created massive chaos within my brain, my thoughts, and everything. So now you keep pushing through. You're probably not focusing on your health. Your relationships are starting to suffer a little bit. A lot of people, when they're breaking from the 50 to 75, relationships are destroyed. They're divorced. They have young children. They don't know how to manage this. And now you have a company. You have this badge of honor. You look at all your trucks, and you're divorced. You're unhealthy, and you're wondering, like, there's probably something's gonna break, right? If you can relate to this, type relate in the chat bar. Like something's gonna pop because you're just trying to keep the wheels on the bus for the company to keep growing. You're trying to keep the wheels on the bus of your life, and one wheel is going to fly off, but you don't know how to manage both of it. Now you get to 100 employees. Now, this is where I start to really, somewhere around here, where I start to really say to myself, I got to really look at what's going on here. I am got this culture. I'm investing money and time. I'm trying to get them skill sets on how to sell. And everybody's telling you, well, selling's the solution, right? Just teach them how to sell, teach them how to sell. And you do that and you make a little more money, but your chaos in life still seems to be at an all-time high. So then they tell you, well, you should hire people, right? Hire better people, build a management team. And you do all that. And then all of a sudden, it's like that theory, like older kids, older problems type thing. It's like now I got bigger managers, and it seems like I have bigger problems. Isn't there a point that this thing should start to like work like a machine? Shouldn't it be pleasurable? It's you built this company of all these trucks. You walk around, you're like the swinging guy, right? You know, they're all over Facebook. Look at me, look at this, look at that. And here's the part that most of them are not telling you, which I wasn't saying it either, was behind closed doors, there was nothing but pulling your hair out, tears, being upset, wondering, like, what the hell did you build? Did you build yourself a jail cell? or did you build yourself a company? Did you wake up one day, like most entrepreneurs and especially in, business owners, they want to wake up one day and go, wow, look at the life I built. Look at the company I built. But it seems like the struggle, the reality, the fears, and all of this seem to magnify. But if we just go out there and learn how to sell, and we learn marketing, and we learn operations, and we learn software systems, and we learn all this, all our fears, our struggles, our concerns, they'll all go away. Is that true, everybody? Type in the chat bar. Hey, what's up, Charlie, Brian? What's happening? Tell me if you think that's true, and it's not true. It's part of it. It's a piece of something. So probably around that point where we're 100 employees, I start to look at what is the real problem with an employee? What's the real situation? What is the real secret sauce? And I'm going to give you a couple of them. The first secret sauce that I found was everything is broken because I'm broken. I want someone to type that in the chat bar. Hey, what's up, Greg? Everything is broken because I'm broken or I'm breaking, right? Did you ever say this? Like, raise your hand right now. Like, did you ever say this? I'm at the breaking point. That's when you know you're like already broken, and it's just a matter of one more thing, snap, you're out of the game. You can't take it. You blow the thing up and you walk away from it. You're like, I'm gonna burn this thing down. I would be a liar in front of you if I did not have these crazy visions of just like Rambo or something with a Molotov cocktail, just like burn the whole thing down, right? And so the first reality I had to say is, hang on a second, where am I broken? Wait, was I broken on, if I learn sales, that will solve my brokenness. Tell me this right now, because there's a lot of people on here, a lot of you understand sales. So if you understand sales, you're not broken internally no more. No, bullshit, you're still broken. You're still a broken person. You're broken inside, right? If you learn marketing, you buy another truck, you hire more guys, you're not broken. Now you're fixed. No, you're still broken. So the first thing is you got to fix yourself. And this is okay, so I started to figure this out, but I really figured it out in the last couple of years now. Why? Because it was one thing when I was feeling this way and growing a company to 32 million, right? It's one thing, 200 employees, 165 trucks, double-digit profit, right? At one time, shit-ass profit until Jay Abraham made me feel really, really bad, and then I had to fix that. Right. And as I sat there and I was looking at those things, and after 8 years of building one of the top training and implementation organizations on the planet to help service companies and studying, looking at the behavior, looking at what's broken, I said, okay, these pieces help, but there's one piece that people seem to neglect, to invest in, to focus on. It's the number one kingpin to make all things change. It's yourself. Now, it sounds all foo-fooey, right? Like the Kung Fu master on the mountain, right? Sitting up there all wise. But the fact is, it is yourself. But everybody's so busy trying to invest in the solution to solve the thing, but they don't understand that they're creating the problem. Okay, so part one, it's you. Okay, wise Mike. Great for that one. Well, let me share the next thing. So now 100 employees in, chaos, confusion, who's sleeping with who stole from who ate somebody's thing out of the fridge, who left to go. Oh my goodness. Maybe you should give me, hey, what's up, Mark? Maybe like some of you should give me like an amen in the chat bar right now if you like experienced all of this. No one knows how the tire got flat. No one knows how the van got smashed. No one knows who left the doors unlocked, right? All of this stuff that's happening. So what do? I start to invest in me. I have to solve the broken aspects of myself, right? What were all the broken things from my past? The things of like feeling like either I was bullied or taken advantage of, or I had bad models that people were showing me as a kid. And I had to address this. And then, high five, everybody. I'm done. I'm fixing myself. Look at me, everybody. I'm cool. I'm fixing myself. I'm investing in trainings left and right to help myself. And I am. Things are working. Relationships are getting better. At one time, I mean, I'm with my beautiful wife, Jennifer. We're together since we're 15. It's over well over 3 decades. It wasn't always peachy keen. It got better as we invested in ourselves to get better. So I'm thinking, we're done. We're done here. Whole company, 100 something employees. This bad boy is going to flip on its head. This is no longer going to be a jail I go to. It's going to be Disneyland. Does that happen, everybody? Type in the chat bar. Does not happen. Does not happen. The only thing is, I feel better about me, but I'm still in conflict about everything else. And then I posted this morning, which really triggered this thought. I posted this morning, it was a picture. We used to do what we didn't call them all company meetings. We called them all company gatherings. Because when you run a service company, for those of you that don't run a service company, when you run a service company, there's people may not see each other for months, like plumbers, electricians, they may not see each other for months. So we would do this all company gathering. It's one of my favorite times because a bunch of team. It's so interesting how things started to happen. They would be out there cooking. I never knew who was going to cook. And, I got Jan, one of my top guys. He's out there cooking. I got Jim T. He's got this big grill. He was one of our directors. He's cooking and people are eating omelets and stuff and they're all happy. And I'm in the room waiting for, at one point, 200 employees to come in. But I started to figure it out as 100. I hope for you figure this out today before you get an employee or before you hire more employees, because this is what the people aren't sharing today. Why? Because they don't have the framework of studying what's broken, feeling the pain, and solving the solution. So I see people growing big companies in all different industries. Doesn't matter if it's IT or all different industries, and they're falling apart. Why? Because of what I'm going to share with you now. So now this all company meeting triggered this, and it was an all company like rock concert, right? They came in, AC/DC was playing. Sometimes I taped Cash to the wall. Sometimes Cash was on the floor. I was watching what would happen. Would people actually walk in my meeting room, walk into this big, huge room, and would they walk past Cash on the floor? And I started to study all this and look at human behavior. Like, why would one walk by and one would pick it up? Why was one skeptical and one was brave? Why was one falling asleep in the morning and why was one wide awake? Why did half of the people have to show up with a Red Bull drink? Later it was like X Monster and all the shit. Like, why did one have to show up with this and someone else didn't need it at all? And then I figured it out, what I started to do. By transforming myself, I knew there was one investment I had to make. The key investment. I had to invest in my people. So you're like, oh, Mike, high five, knuckle up, man. I invested in my people too. No, you don't understand the investment that I had to figure out to do. You see, if you have a bus going and you have a whole bunch of wheels on this bus, there's one set of wheels that throws the bus completely off a cliff. One set of wheels does this. Type in the chat bar if you know this set of wheels. Here's the set of wheels, right? Disney is even a mess now. Oh, Disneyland's a mess now. The set of wheels that throws everything off, everybody, is the life set of wheels. If a wheel falls off on your life, everything falls off. So I'm sitting here trying to stack everything on people. I'm trying to give them training to solve the business problems, but I didn't understand I was stacking ability on top of humans sinking in quicksand. They were sinking in quicksand. And I don't know why it took me 100 employees to figure this shit out. I have no idea. But as I started to look at it and talk to people in the morning, hey, how everything's going? Oh, I'm divorcing my wife. Hey, how everything's going? Man, I'm sick. I was to the doctor the other day. My heart's racing. Hey, how's everything going? Man, I got to tell you, I got to be upfront. I'm dealing with anxiety. Hey, how's it going? My back's a problem. And I'm like, and you're falling asleep. So you clearly now have a pill problem too. And then I'm like, where's so-and-so? And he's not here. Why? Because he went out drinking last night. And I started to figure out, hang on a second. We don't have a skill set problem. We have a human behavior problem. We have a person problem. We have a wheel falling off people's life problem. Now, this is a tricky slope because if you're not skilled to deal with this and you're trying to talk about these things in your company meeting, you're trying to talk about relationships and health and how to think different and trying to help people remove guilt and shame. Like, this is sticky if you don't have the skill set. I have 3 decades of this skill set. I've been helping people over 3 decades. Most people think, "Oh, Mike, you built a business," but yeah, you don't even know all the other stuff that was going on. Oh, Mike, you're a martial artist. You're a tattoo artist. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Right? No, it's 3 decades of helping people pass shame and guilt and trauma and all these situations that they were dealing with because I was facing my own guilts and shames. And then when I figured it out, I started to say, wait a second. I got to help my people from losing the wheel on their life bus. This is what I got to do. I got to get them to understand life different. If I get them to understand life different, then I could take all the skill sets in the world and stack it on them because now they're standing on solid ground. Please tell me this is making sense. Can you guys type in making sense in the chat bar? Mike says liability night. Yeah, for the unskilled, which means you have to go get the skill or bring them to a place that has the skill. Now, for me, Mike, I bought extra insurance. I mean, I had insurance that was about $8,000 a year just in case I said any stupid shit. Like, I literally told my business partner, Rob, I'm like, let's get the best insurance in case I say the wrong thing on the wrong day at the wrong time. Because I always believed that it was going to be better to be honest and upfront and share. So I shared my pains with in front of the room. I shared my sufferings. I shared when I was having difficulties. And then as I started to figure it out, that transforming, helping them, inviting them into investments, avenues to help them transform how they thought as people, how they thought about their relationship, how they thought about their children, how they thought about eating, how they thought about managing money. Then I created an army of warriors at that point. Then I had an army because it came with, and how do you help them fix them first? I mean, I knew when you have 200 employees, and some of you on here probably have more, some of you have less. When you understand that if they don't show up on Friday, what the problem is, and if they don't show up on Monday, what the problem is, I nailed it down to relationship issues, alcohol issues, drug issues, depression issues. Why? Because I was just constantly trying to solve not how to make the company more money, how to help the people from suffering less, even my employees. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want them. Money comes when you remove the suffering. It does. Results come when you remove the suffering. People are focused on the wrong suffering, right? I think they're focused on the wrong suffering. You want a company, and everybody tells you, they go out and tell you this, all the culture people, right? That wrote all the culture books. Oh, culture, blah. You got to sing violins together and high five, hug each other and blah, 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 right? Yeah. What they don't tell you in the culture thing, because they don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. They don't want to go nowhere near it. They don't tell you that in order to have a remarkable culture, you have to have people that want to become remarkably inside. They want to become remarkable inside of themselves. Is this making sense? Can you type in making sense? Because everybody, I was pissed off at my people. They don't show up and they break shit and they crash things and all the things that a lot of you have experienced. And that's only one company I had employees, right? I built CEO Warrior. I had employees there. I have a company now. I have multiple companies building now, and I have employees now too. And when I look at it and I watch, because this really started to send it home for me. When I started to facilitate, remember, this does not work. I watched companies try to do this. Oh, I'm going to fix my people. Nothing's wrong with me. And I'm like, okay, sure. And they start fixing the people. And then the owner, he or she doesn't know how to interact with the people because you're one piece of it. You're not the piece. Any owner that's walking around thinking they're the piece, they're just one piece. They're a facilitator of it. Answer this question in the chat bar for me, okay? Hey, what's up, Harry? Everybody says the job of a leader. Everybody, like, what's the job of a leader? Tell me in the chat bar. What does everybody always say? They say the job of a leader is to build more leaders. Well, let me explain what you're going to build. Okay, if the job of a leader is to build more leaders and you're broken inside, maybe you have skill sets, you're a sales guru, everybody wants to hang themselves on scale on sales. I actually waiting for someone to throw people on stage and have like a sale duel off or something. That's what I think with all these hot air people. Like, let's create a UFC and throw them in the middle to have like selling competition and shit. That sounds like cool, fun stuff. Tag me in on that one, right? But if you look at this, inspire and navigate, Karen says, here's the number one job of a leader: to build themselves to be the best model they can be for their people. That's it. Because if you're not building yourself, your inspiration, right, that you're trying to do is only at your level of where you're capped at now. But if I'm constantly building myself and modeling that for everybody, a leader then, other leaders say, I want to follow that model. They want to follow that action. Now, a lot of this stuff I was playing with. Hey, what's up, David? I was experimenting with it and trying to figure it out as I built a huge service company. And then I knew one thing. Like, to build a company, you have to become a new person, a different person. Write this down, everybody. In order to grow something, something else has to die. In order to grow you, an old thought has to die. An old pattern, an old behavior has to die. In order for your people to grow, something inside of them must die. An old thought. Right? Did you ever get people, you hire them, they're really, really good, and you go, oh my God, they have so much baggage, they have so much, they learned so much from the other place that's just like so out of line. Like, if you don't have the skill set to be able to, and Ray is here, so Ray used to work for me, so he could tell you if I'm talking bullshit. He could say he's talking bullshit, right? He could call anybody. There's a whole bunch of people on here that know me well. Some of you are newer in my world. So the thing is, how do you help people become better people first? See, that's the part. How do you help people become better people? And sometimes they don't know they want to be better. Sometimes they're confused about being better. That's the thing. So my solution was, let me start investing in the things outside of the marketing, the sales, the operation systems, and then stack great skill sets on top of people standing on solid ground. Type in the chat bar, what are you taking away from this morning? I wish somebody told me this like decades ago. I wish somebody said, because if it's clicking for you, you're going to be ahead of so many people. And then, because especially and I hate using blue collar space, right? Because I think it's ridiculous. Everybody wants to talk about segregation. Biggest segregation is blue collar, white collar. So let's just use service industry. When you look in the service industry space, I mean, it's one of the areas with the most suffering for people, right? Their model's was probably not the best as a kid, right? Their belief systems are probably not the best in that space, right? The service industry, the blue collar space, they suffer from, alcoholism and drugs and addiction and anxiety. I mean, I've been in this world for such a long time, growing a company in it, helping countless companies grow. And I also helped countless companies and owners become decamillionaires or more. Those people that got to that point, they started to fix them and then help the people their team who wanted to fix themselves. See what you're saying? Service industry, yeah, I love in order for something to grow, something must die. Yes, yeah, right? You got to kill an old thought. Like, I had to do this. Guys, I'm not telling you, I only figured it out through all my own pain and suffering, right? All my own struggles and difficulties. You can't sell a company until you create an identity of someone who believes that they earn the right to sell a company. Until you create the identity of someone who is a loyal husband or loyal wife or loving person, you won't create a solid relationship. You won't. You have difficulties, especially as you grow as an entrepreneur and you stack things on it.